Good morning and good afternoon to another episode of Before Coffee. We're here with our Wacky and Weird Wednesday. That's right, we found some wacky weirdness and things we can laugh at today to give ourselves some levity with these times that we live in. And they're definitely times.
Hopefully
the future. Future is still coming. This is the first and only international game show, Before Coffee, a father and daughter news podcast where we look up our stories right before we've started. We just got caffeine in our bodies and we're learning to read and speak live on stream. Let's get into those wacky headlines and spin that segue wheel. Today on Wacky and Weird Wednesday. The secret underground bunker which helped win World War II. And it's right under a normal street. Plus, Prime Minister FICO of Slovakia wants to end EU sanctions against Russian oil because Putin told him to do that.
And more weirdness. Are Mount Everest climbers being poisoned by the guides? That's weird. And a 38-year-old mother in Oklahoma is attacked by an unknown beast.
How Lobster Boy and Grady Styles went from a circus act to a murderer. Plus, revelers parade giant penises to dash stigma in Japan's fertility festival.
An Arizona woman is found alive after missing for 32 years. And scientists have found a big problem with how we measure microplastics, plus a pig problem apparently too. But I can't talk.
In my culture news, we're gonna make fun of things that have happened over the week. One thing, of course, is that terrible call with the astronauts by Trump that has been feeding memes since it happened. Plus, Kanye West is blocked by the UK from going to the country, so the Wireless Festival has been cancelled. That's what you get for platforming a Nazi. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't feel
say
bad
whatever
for him
you
at all.
want, Kanye. You got free speech, but you're not in America anymore. Nobody else cares about your free speech, believe it or not. Anyway, sorry. And it's National Empanada Day. That's right. Them hot pockets from heaven. That's right. April 8th, 2026. On Before Coffee. I say I can eat 9, but it'll probably burn my mouth on the first one and have to stop.
9 empanadas. That's crazy.
Hot pocket.
You can eat. Well, you can eat 9. You can eat 9 before they get cold, I guess. Is Hot Pocket just the colonization of empanadas? Damn you, America!
No, it's the commercialization of it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sure. Let's roll our segue.
Ethnic food being commercialized.
That's never happened, ever.
No way! You mean real Chinese food isn't the stuff we get at, what's it called? Panda, what's it called? The Panda Express? Is that what it's called? I even forget the names of these franchises. I never eat it. Panda Express, right?
I don't know. I guess. Yeah, Panda Express. We don't have those here, so I don't know.
To me.
I think that's what you're talking about.
It's a big Chinese food.
I think I've only been there once or twice in when we went to Waldorf, the only mall nearby. So.
Yeah, Chinese food in America to me is buffet. That's the only really Chinese food I want to eat, really, unless it's delivered, right? But Panda Express delivers. But again, I thought they served Panda when I first saw the signs. First in California, I first saw Panda Express. You can eat Panda.
Quick Panda. Yeah.
Yeah, golly. I thought they were endangered. Apparently not. Apparently there's panda farms. I didn't know though. But, hey, bon appetit, I guess. A lot of bamboo disappearing, being saved by not like bamboo struggling to survive anywhere. Oh no, the bamboo!
I mean, yeah, it's grass. It's the biggest grass, I think, in the world. So definitely
fastest growing thing a day.
Running out.
It makes noise.
Yeah.
David Attenborough sets up microphones and listen to it grow.
Oh, did he? Okay, that's pretty cool.
Like growing noise is awesome. Yeah, very fast growing. Like a meter a day or something like that.
Speaking of this tangent, our first segue is a non sequitur, so we can talk about bamboo, I guess, after my first story.
Oh, we got to do the show. I forgot. Gotcha.
Okay, our first news story is coming out of the UK for this secret World War II bunker that we're talking about because a lot of people don't know about it, and I guess it's kind of weird and wacky in a way that it's still there, right? They didn't get rid of it. It's still there. This is on the London Daily, written by don't give me anybody any credit to whoever wrote the story. It's just on the London Daily.
Uh-oh. I wrote it. It was me.
Some 73 feet below the traffic and bustle of London's Piccadilly, so it's right in the center of London, lies a silent warren of corridors and pitch black rooms, rarely seen, rarely visited, but which played a vital role in the course of the 20th century history. Now the opportunity has come round again to slip behind the door, the abandoned Down Street tube station, and descend by torchlight into the World War II hideaway, from which campaigns such as the D-Day landings and the Dunkirk evacuation were coordinated. Britain's Prime Minister Winston Churchill sheltered here in secret, of course, because you don't want to say, hey, he's over there, just assassins this way. In November and December of 1940, when the German bombing campaign known as the Blitz was at its height, and a team of 40 staff worked here day and night on the war effort. While the better-known Churchill War Rooms, a British government command center throughout the war, is open to the public as part of the Imperial War Museum, tours of the Down Street are much more infrequent delight. CNN Travel so this is, I guess the source of this is CNN Travel, got a preview of the experience ahead of the new batch of London Transport Museum's Hidden London tours going on sale in December 3rd. When was the story made? Oh, the story was made yesterday, but I guess so. Oh, sorry, this story is from today. So coming up in December, you can start touring abandoned bunkers under the Piccadilly station, or Piccadilly in general. Historian and guide City Holloway meets at ground level, where the distinctive Leslie Green oxblood tiled arches of the facade are still the same as the many other famous Edwardian tube stations he designed, including Covent Garden and Russell Square. Yeah, reminder that the tube is a 1800s. Is it 1800s? 1900s? Yeah, 1900s invention, so they're quite old tunnels. Down Street opened in 1907 and served the Piccadilly line, but by 1932 it had already closed. In the heart of the affluent Mayfair, a short walking distance from what is now Hyde Park's Corner and Green Park tube stations, it was an underused station. In addition, it was particularly deep underground, and there were long passageways taking it under the busy Piccadilly thoroughfare. However, after 7 years of disuse, explains Holloway, all of the things that made it not viable as a station made it absolutely perfect for secret bunkers during the Second World War. I mean, yet again, it was 73 feet below the surface. When war was declared in 1939, Down Street was converted into a matter of days into the new headquarters of the Railway Executive Committee. The REC acted as an intermediary between the War Office and Britain's rail companies. It would be crucial to movement of troops, horses, and equipment in the fights ahead. Descending down the platform today is still clear that it's a tube station like no other. Ancient signage points the way to offices and committee rooms. The draftsman pencil marks still visible in some areas. Mustard-colored plasterboard clings to the tiles, vestiges of an attempt to create an office-like environment, while the floor has been leveled to create the typing pool where up to 8 secretaries would sit and clack at their keys. Staff lived and worked down there, working shifts of up to 12 hours, often overnight, perhaps only surfacing for air in the upper world every 10 to 14 days. Sounds like a claustrophobic thing for you.
Yeah.
Grimy baths and toilets are all that remain. They were taking baths in toilets. Oh God, they didn't even go up for a bath.
Well,
the washroom facilities suit obscures the patterned walls in the executive sleeping quarters. They're sleeping down there for sure. Still, there was opulence after a fashion. Bunkers and shelter were off rations during the war, says Holloway. A much higher class of food was being enjoyed there by civilians above ground. The REC was the same company behind Britain's many Grand Wilbury hotels, and the staff here were able to dine on crystal dining ware and wash at Royal Doulton sinks. They just took all the stuff from the hotels, said, these hotels are probably going to get bombed anyway. There was a fully staffed kitchen and 2 mess rooms with waiting staff as well, and 27,000 meals were prepared and eaten there every year. Also, good morning again. Thank you for stopping by for your daily elixir. The war rooms, just a mile or so from Down Street, on the other side of the Buckingham Palace, were underground but weren't bomb-proof. If they received a direct hit, you'd obliterate everyone there, says Holloway. By November 1940, people had started fearing for the life of Winston Churchill. Ralph Wedgwood, chairman of the Down Street facility and brother of British Member of Parliament Josiah Wedgwood, convinced Churchill to come to Down Street. Because it's so close to the seat of power, says Holloway. It's very comfortable, it's very private, it's very provisioned with brandy and cigars and all things like that. Churchill stayed overnight down here at least 5 times in the winter of 1940, having been sneaked in at ground level and then again his presence hidden from most of Down Street staff. While he slept on a modest camp bed in the executive mess room, at least he was able to live life well. The civil servant John Colville recalled his diaries that at Down Street they were treated to caviar, Peugeot champagne, and 1865 brandy. Is Mocha here? 1865 brandy, what does that mean? The other hidden London tours, which are restarting for the first time since March 2020, during COVID, of course, are of disused stations and tunnels at Euston. I'm speaking Dutch. Moorgate and Aldwych, of which have their own unique characters and histories. Aldwych, the most famous, provided shelter to ordinary Londoners during the Blitz, and has been used for film and TV shoots including The Darkest Hour and Sherlock. The Down Street tours are the highest price at £85 for an adult, £80 for concessions, $112 and $106, while the other station tours are only $41. That's still expensive to see a tunnel, and 36 concessions. The Down Street and Euston tours run on selected dates between January 15th and February 13th, 22, while the Moorgate and Aldwych tours will take place on selected dates between... Why is it saying 2022? When was this posted? Wait, it says 2026. I'm so confused. Either way, you can see these. They're opened up now. The tickets go on general on December 3rd. You can check out the London Transport Museum newsletter and subscribe if you want to get updates on the tour. And if you miss out on these trips, you can also, if you don't want to pay that much money to go into a tunnel, there's also walking tours above ground where they'll say, right now we're walking on top of the 73-foot deep tunnel and all that junk. So there you go.
Wow.
The wacky, misgotten tunnels from the Blitz that you can walk around in, I guess. If you're into that kind of stuff. That's why I consider it weird, because sure. Cool.
One of these terms I couldn't find on the internet, even though I just specifically entered it. And I kind of know it's a thing because I read it in the Beatles biographies I used to read, and it's called the Blitzkrieg baby. Blitzkrieg babies were a thing, right?
Of course, like COVID babies.
Yeah, because you're in that tunnel. You ain't going nowhere. Hey, you know what? Hey. So,
what's a nice little 14-day romance, because they were stuck in that tunnel for 14 days.
John Lennon was a Blitzkrieg baby.
Really?
Ringo Starr was a Blitzkrieg baby.
Yeah.
I think Paul McCartney, although they did probably still go into tunnels after the Blitzkrieg, you never know, right?
They didn't happen in the Blitz, so. Yeah.
Yeah, they still had air raids, and everybody spends 3 days in a tunnel. Yeah, well, there's no TV to watch, so so that's my non sequitur. My phone ringing. Spam. It says
spam likely spam. Calling again.
I love potential, right? I love potential. I'm just gonna leave it unrealized though. Anyway, that's my little non sequitur about. That was Liverpool again. Liverpool got bombed. Brian Jones and the Rolling Stones also conceived during the Blitzkrieg. Not so. Maybe Paul McCartney. I'm just going to guess anybody born during World War II. They still had air raids. There's a lot of time spent in those tunnels, and they weren't playing checkers. Well, they were, but know what I mean. But anyway, let's do another story, I guess, right?
Another story. This one's shorter, and this is just me clowning on Slovakia's prime minister, who, just like Hungary's prime minister, wants that sweet, sweet Russian oil, and they'll do anything, even letting Ukraine lose the war and getting invaded themselves for that sweet, sweet Russian oil. This is from April 4th, but it's been it's updated on April 4th on Die Zeit from Germany. Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico has called on the European Union to lift sanctions against Russian oil and gas imports. His reason? Non-existent. He has also demanded the restoration of oil deliveries via the Druzhba pipeline and an end to the war in Ukraine. Well, you gotta tell Putin about that. He's the one who invaded them. These measures, Fico stated, after a telephone conversation with the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, also Putin bootlicker, would help combat the energy crisis caused by the war in Iran. That was all part of the plan. I'm glad you figured that one out. Hey! Ding, ding, ding. Hey, Trump, can you go invade Iran so we can increase the price of oil? Whatever you say, Putin. You're my best friend. Oh, no! The oil is really high. It's a good thing Russia has a lot left over to sell to people who are running out. Hee 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 hee. Evil laugh. That's what I think happened. Something like that. It's Wacky and Weird Wednesday, so I can be wacky, okay? FICO continued to demand that the EU immediately resume dialogue with Russia and enable the supply of these strategic raw materials from all possible sources, including Russia. Both Orban and FICO maintain ties with Russia government because, I don't know, they want to be part of their federation or something, making them the only EU heads of state to do so. Until recently, they also received Russian oil via the Druzhba pipeline. According to Ukrainian sources, the Druzhba pipeline was damaged in a Russian attack in January and therefore temporarily shut down. Hungary and Slovakia accused Ukraine of delaying repairs to the pipeline and using the alleged damage as a pretext to shut it down. Okay, get fucked. They've literally done nothing. This is the wackiness of this, right? They know that there's a war in Ukraine. They know that pipeline goes through Ukraine, and they don't do anything to look for alternative sources. They just go, oh no, we ran out of oil. Well, stop doing your war, guys. Let Ukraine get conquered because I ran out of my oil and I didn't try to do anything else. No, I don't think so. Oil prices have risen sharply since the start of the US and Israeli idiot war on February 28th. Faced with the high fuel price, German Finance Minister Lars Klingbeil, because this is a German paper that's reporting this, and four of its EU counterparts are calling on the European Commission to examine the possibility of a profit tax at the European level. A letter seen by Reuters refers to a similar temporary instrument in place in 2022. In view of the current market distortions and fiscal constraints, the European Commission should rapidly develop a similar EU-wide tax instrument based on a sound legal foundation, the letter said. Signed by the finance ministers of Germany, Spain, Portugal, Austria, Italy, states. I don't know what that means. I'm going to look that up real quick. A tax on excess profits. Okay. So if you make exit profits because a war happens and you can suddenly increase your prices, they want you to get taxed for that. So if your estimated amount of profits was supposed to be, I don't know, let's say, I don't know how much the price of oil is to be, but right now the peak is at 2,000 per liter, 2,000.3 per liter of euros, right? So let's say it used to be 1,000. So that's like a double profit. You're making double the profit you're supposed to be because of a war happening. That should be taxed. All of that extra profit you've made, all that extra 1,000 that you made should be taxed. That's what he's asking for, along with Austria, Portugal, Spain, and Italy. But there's my story on Eastern Europe continuing to break the rule of law, which we talked about that last week or the week before. So, Oh, your camera froze. Is that me? Is that a me thing? Or you think? Let me check. Yep, it was a me thing. I fixed it. Okay. Any non sequitur that inspires from you?
My non sequitur, yeah. Or in a related story, I would like to point out, as we always talk about, like, I've seen places that talk about that. Maybe you should just stop burning more oil and go to electric cars because you save all kinds of money while you're saving the environment too. Because as the AI and other sources have explained to me, the 5-year maintenance cost for an electric vehicle, because you got to do stuff like, you got to change your tires or whatnot, your brakes, right? The 5-year cost is $1,500. That's the outside top end, $1,500 maintenance cost, right? A gas burning internal combustion is $9,000 for the same period. So that is roughly, what's that? What's 3 times 2? 6 times as much. 6 times as much you're going to pay in a maintenance cost. So if you got $7,500 added on to the cost of the car that you bought, and plus you're paying for gas and your wild fluctuations in the gas prices you're always subject to. Whereas an electric vehicle, you just plug it in and you charge it during, the hours where the electric company doesn't charge you the most, hopefully. Or you can find a charging station at work, or you can go to a Tesla charging station bank somewhere that some business has that you work at or you have access to. So there's all kinds of ways to get around it. In other words, stop burning oil. It isn't even necessary. Oil's necessary for the car itself for lubrication, but that's it. We should only need it for lubrication. Everything else is just because lubricant oil does not go to this cloud.
Yeah, the problem is they also need natural gas, right, or whatever too. So it's just like I said, they're not making any changes to anything they're doing in the country for the last 4 years. They've had a chance to say, oh shit, Russia's invading Ukraine, we might have a risk to our energy sector, maybe we should change stuff. They're like, nah, Putin would never do that to us. He loves us. Putin doesn't give a shit about you. He just wants to use you. He's using Slovakia and Hungary to fuck with the EU, and that's all he wants from you, right? That's all he wants to do, to use you to fuck with the EU, make, veto things so they can't pass sanctions, and that's all you are, a fucking
energy
tool.
Independence.
Yeah.
Energy independence is the key here. That's what I'm talking about. Stop depending on other countries to supply your energy. You can make your own cars. It ain't like, oh my God, what can we do? You make trains, right? Just make your own cars. Make your own electric cars. Stop relying on other countries to give you oil or sell you oil because of your short-term, gain of your portfolio.
Your money, whatever. Yeah, our next segue is alliteration headline.
All right. Alliteration headline. All right, let me write that down. I will forget. I have officially forgets the stuff. Okay, you got yourself some fun headlines there. Tragedy, one of them. It's really tragic, but the woman did live. She's still with us, so could have been worse. But both of these stories involve illness and hospitalization. The first one is climbing.com has a story from Sam McElwain. And his headline says, and he's defending the climbers, right? He's defending them. So I don't know where this article goes because I didn't read it. His headline says, no, Everest climbers are not being poisoned by the guides. Okay. This is the subset headline says, the indictment of the Nepal helicopter rescue scammers contains hundreds of pages of evidence for insurance fraud and zero evidence for poisoning. That's what it says. It says insurance fraud. I think people just got altitude sickness and they said, no, you're going to die and it's going to be on us. And they got to fly him to the hospital. It's probably what really happened. And it says, Nepal's helicopter rescue scam isn't what you think. On March 22nd, charges were filed against 33 people in the Kathmandu District Court in connection with a fake rescue scam to earn kickbacks from insurance payouts. I love saying Kathmandu. Kathmandu. Love that song. I might just go there, not to climb the mountain, just to fulfill that Bob Seger song.
I've been to Kathmandu. I've been there. It's probably a pretty place, even without going up Everest, right? The area around there's probably really beautiful.
Dying to go there. Aha! After 8 years of investigations, these 33 tour managers, rescue coordinators, hospital owners, doctors, and trekking guides face charges under the Organized Crime Prevention Act. The defendants operate across Nepal, including the Everest region. They got more than one mountain you can climb there. They have your starter mountains, I think, right? Hey, do a starter mountain first. Do I get money regardless what happens? The crime in question was organizing unnecessary helicopter flights for non-emergency clients. The allegations state that these individuals called for fake rescues, forged passengers manifests, and manipulated medical records in order to boost claims to their clients' rescue insurance and split the profit. Oh, it was a little deal with their clients. Oh, my lordy, lord. Oh, there's a scam a minute, isn't there? Why fake? Let's see. It says, the headline, the next headline says, why fake news is spreading about poisoning on Everest? The 748-page charge sheet, which climbing obtained, makes it clear that insurance fraud is well evidenced. This holds especially true in 3 Kathmandu hospitals, where at least 9 doctors accused scammers of forging their signatures. But this week, dozens of media outlets, including the Economic Times of India, Fox News, there you go, People, and the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, way too long. Anyway, I publish headlines focused on one specific detail. The allegation that some trekking guides laced their clients' food with baking soda or gave them acetazolamine or Diamox in order to make them sick or dehydrated, thereby justifying a helicopter rescue. However, while certainly scarier than fraudulent paperwork, this allegation does not appear to be supported by any forensic or other evidence. To date, the official investigation has not found any evidence of poisoning. Of course, the clients are in on it. Why would they poison the guys who are in on it? We want to make it look as real as possible. Here's some poison. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, the scamming clients are the part of the splitting the profits. Sure, I was sick. On April 3rd, the CIB, which is the Central Investigative Bureau, to date, the official investigation has not found any evidence of poisoning. The Central Investigative Bureau told Nepal told Climbing via emails this morning. CIB has also released press release to address the inaccuracies. The CIB's serious attention, let's do this again. The CIB's serious attention has been drawn to news reports broadcasted across national and international media regarding fake rescue of tourists. These reports allege that trekking guides in the Everest region made tourists ill by mixing poisonous substance into their food to facilitate fake rescues. During the investigation, so far, no facts have been found to suggest that poisonous substances were mixed into the food. So there's your statement from the people that are investigating it. No poisoning. The clients themselves were in on the scam. So shame on these bastages, on these, let's call it these news organizations that do not check their own facts. And we have to go to Climber for the actual facts in the actual press release. Economic Times of India, never use them as a source ever for anything. Fox News, I already know that. People, unfortunately, is sensationalist bullshit.
Yep.
So they just go with the headline, right?
It must be real because a person I've heard of has talked about it. Okay, that's all you're basing it off of. That's cool.
An organized crime and corruption reporting project, probably just a bunch of clowns trying to fucking source material that they didn't actually hire reporters for. So they're just lazier than us, because we get to the bottom of the story. Thank you very much. I'm serious. I will not report fake shit. If I do, I will try my best to correct. I make mistakes on my own with facts, right?
Yeah.
I try to correct those in good time. We got to issue more corrections. Remind me to do that sometime this week.
I just see if there's something that I talked about. I'm like, oh wait, maybe this didn't happen. For my AI,
tell me what the headline should say.
For my anti-intelligence alliteration, we have crafty climbers conspire cunningly con cash flush cash clientele cashed up. Yeah, well, you know, a little dash. Cashed up clientele. Yeah,
there you go.
A little hyphen in there. That counts, right? Cashed up clientele.
Epstein class clientele, right? Epstein class. Klepstein, right? Because they're stealing. Klepto, right? The Klepstein class. That's who they are.
Do you have another story?
There you go. Yes, I do, for the Klepstein class, now that I've coined that phrase. Mom, 38, roughly just a couple years older than you, undergoes multiple surgeries after being savagely mauled by an unknown animal. This is from the independent.com, the UK daily job thing, I think. No, it's just independent.com. Erin Keller, an Oklahoma woman, the primary caregiver and breadwinner for her family while her husband undergoes dialysis and awaits a kidney transplant. Holy shit, please send this woman money. She lives in Oklahoma, for God's sake. She has no life other than just, oh my God, my husband is dying of dialysis and I got kids and now I got attacked by something. Anyway, she remains in critical condition after a vicious attack by an unidentified animal in rural Blanco. I don't know if I've been through Blanco. It's probably just one of them drifty little towns full of trailers on the outskirts of McAllister, I would imagine.
I know somebody who lives in Oklahoma, but I don't think they're from that city, and they also don't need a kidney transplant, so I don't think it's anyone I know.
Okay, yeah. Plus, I may have worked with one of their relatives for all I know, right? Because it was 10 years ago in Oklahoma. 10 years ago, basically next month. That was April? No, it was April. I had my surgery and then moved to Oklahoma for 6 months.
Yeah, and then we were there until November, until Thanksgiving.
Do you know anybody named Alicia Maxey? She's about 4 years older than you. Alicia Maxey, mother of 4, was found unconscious and severely injured in a remote yard on Sunday morning by a nearby homeowner, also certified EMT. She was airlifted to St. John's Hospital in Tulsa, where she's undergone 4 extensive surgeries and continues to fight for her life. Hopefully she makes it. I'm in too much pain to say anything right now, Maxey told Fox 23. Friday between surgery. GoFundMe set up a page to run by her sister-in-law, Kat Kelly, states Maxey was mauled by a dog, which remained at the scene when she was discovered.
I said that was a mysterious monster.
The unusual severity.
Oh, okay.
Dog is what they're claiming in the GoFundMe. She never saw what it was. However, due to the unusual severity of injuries, Oklahoma Wildlife Service is assisting authorities to identify the animal responsible. So, could have been a dog, maybe not, don't know. Torn clothing and other material being analyzed for DNA to determine whether the attacker was a dog, bear, mountain lion, or other creature. There'll be DNA in the saliva. In 38 years, I've never involved in or seen anything like this in terms of injuries caused by a wild animal. Pittsburgh County Sheriff Frankie McClendon told Fox News. Yeah, werewolves of Blanco. He did not have a Chinese menu. A Chinese menu was not found at the scene.
Or maybe it was a skinwalker. That's more of a Native American spooky thing, you know?
That's a reality show on American television, Skinwalker Ranch, which is in Oklahoma. So yeah, this is what this is. Oh, I guarantee they're going to capitalize on this for that show. Oh boy, they'll be all over this. Kelly said Maxey reported hearing a deep growl just before the attack. I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably a Mexican wolf. That's my guess. They're very rare in the north of Mexico, but they've gone farther north hunting javelina, because javelina are natural to Mexico, and they're spreading their... Plus, again, I said this before the show started, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and that part of Texas are overrun with wild boars.
Really?
I know. Yeah, the guy I worked with. I don't know if you remember Nickelberry, the guy I was working with at Harris when I was there. You met him. He was staying in the same hotel. We stayed in his room.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway, me and Melanie stayed in his room. You slept in the house, but me and Melanie stayed. We didn't until they throw us out. But Nickelberry has a ranch down by Dallas, and he just sits out there and shoots wild boars all day, and he never runs out. He's like, man.
So he's the guy who started the I need an AK-47 to protect my family from 70 to 90 feral boars. He's that guy.
Oh yeah.
That's him.
He says no. He was an Army Special Forces guy. I got to know him pretty good while I was there. He
would know not to use it. He would know not to use an AR-15 for that. Sorry, I said AK-47. It's AR-15.
Yeah, we didn't do a lot of work, so we sat there and talked a lot, and we were talking about him hunting and how he hated Trump. He's an Army Special Forces guy. I fucking can't believe he hated Trump, and this is before Trump was even elected. And he would get in fights with people at the frickin' place over Trump. They were all Trumpers. Black guy, black special forces guy. He was sick of bullshit from the Republican. He was a pretty good guy. And he had a dog. You remember his dog? Anyway, his deal was, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, he was hunting boars on his ranch. Let's get back to the story. Let's get back to it. Kelly said Maxie, the sheriff, his name Kelly. Maxie reported hearing a deep growl just before the attack. Something just pounced on her and knocked her to the ground, Kelly told Fox 23. She described it as dog-like, but she didn't say certain it was a dog. Maxie's family is facing severe financial and logistical challenges after attack. Her husband, Wallace, is on dialysis and waiting a kidney transplant, while Alicia was a primary income earner for their household, including their 2 daughters. Kelly wrote on the GoFundMe campaign. Hopefully she's going to be all right.
Happen
now
to
with Alicia unable to work.
People already on their last leg. Now they have no legs.
This gets worse. Now the Alicia able to get to work. Their family struggling to keep up the daily expenses. Their only vehicle was towed after the incident and is accumulating fees every day, making it even harder for Wallace to get to the dialysis appointment. If that towing yard,
fines are for poor people. Song.
If that impound lot is gonna try to stick her with those fees, that place needs to be shuttered and put out of business. Just close them down and stop using them. Tow trucks that tow it there need to stop using them because this woman cannot possibly pay for that fee. And the only reason her car was sitting there is she was attacked. Anyway, I'm sure that they're going to waive it because I don't think, hopefully there's a lot of Christians there and you just don't build churches for the fun of it, just for tax dodges, right? Anyway, Wallace told Fox News about his wife's condition, the husband here. When I first walked in, I saw her, just broke down and started crying. I wasn't expecting this. Alicia is a loving, caring person. It doesn't matter who you are. She will sit there and help you the best she can. So, terrible thing happened to good people. Carry a gun. I'm telling you, it will save your life and perhaps your children's lives. Carry a gun. It ain't about murdering people. It's about wild animals. They run your landscape, whether you like it or not.
The sad thing about rewilding or us,
place they can find food.
A lot of us have gotten humans have gotten too comfortable with not being, worrying about wild animals. They're out there. And they're coming back too. Say,
you're in any of those states, arm yourself. A 22 will kill an animal that size. Doesn't have to be
also
a big
just gun. Shooting a gun will scare it away too. Just trying to shoot it will be like, what the fuck was that? Thunder! I'm out of here.
Right. Yeah, and lighting a firecracker takes time. Yeah.
My alliteration is Midnight Mayhem from McAllister. Mysterious monster mauled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't mention where she was from.
Yeah, but
I didn't mention where she was from in this article, unfortunately. But I did watch the news story, so maybe we will.
Woman from McAllister. Yeah.
Maybe I'll send you the news story of that incident. So that's my two stories.
I didn't mean to do that. I need to roll my segue.
I need to throw away this pen. Pen, goodbye. Goodbye, pen. Goodbye. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Remind me of a song, or remind you of a song for our next stories.
Yeah, I was already singing one.
This first story is about... Yes, this first story is a longer one, and it's about the Lobster Boy killer. That's right.
Ooh.
This is just another story that just rolled up on. It's not recent. It's not about anything recent, but I guess somebody came out, saying, I am the child of the Lobster Boy killer. And I have things to say about that, I guess. It's from Abby Norman on allthat'sinteresting.com. So a great place to find some weird and wacky stories, for sure. For more than a century, a peculiar physical condition known as ectrodactyl has afflicted the Styles family. Oh, they're known for this gene. The rare congenital deformity makes hands look like lobster claws, as the middle fingers are either missing or seemingly fused to the thumb and pinky. So you basically just have two limbs, and then I can't even portray what it looks like. Just imagine lobster hands. But one son, Grady Styles Jr., would give the Styles family a different, morbid reputation when he became a serial abuser and murderer. Grady Styles Jr., who became known as Lobster Boy, was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on June 26, 1937. At that point, his father was already a part of the freak show circuit, adding his kids with ectrodactyl to the act. Grady Styles Jr.'s case was pretty severe. In addition to his hands, he also had it in his feet and therefore could not walk. For most of his life, he primarily used a wheelchair, but also learned to use his upper body to pull himself across the floor with impressive strength. As Grady grew up, he became impressively strong, something that would benefit his homicidal rage later in life. Throughout his childhood, Styles and his family toured with the carnival circuit, spending the off-season in Gibsonton, Florida, as many carnies did. The family did well. They made anywhere between $50,000 and $80,000 per season, which yet again, this is in 1937, or around the 1930s, 1940s. So that's a lot of money in our time. And unlike a lot of freak show acts, didn't have a subject themselves to anything more than curious stares. Styles grew up in a carnival world, and so it wasn't surprising that as a young man he fell in love with another carnival worker, a young woman named Maria, some sources say Mary, Teresa. That's pretty funny, who ran away to join the circus as a teenager. She wasn't part of an act, just a staff member, but she fell in love with Styles and the two married. Together they had 2 children, and like his father before him, introduced the children with ectrodactyl to the family business. That's crazy. That's the whole family has this one gene that gives people these hands. Maybe they really were lobsters in a past life. As the children grew up, particularly Styles' daughter Kathy, who did not have the mutation, was therefore somewhat the apple of his father's eye, and the Styles family legacy began to take a rather dark turn. Styles drank.
Sorry, that was late.
What was late?
My rim shot me, so maybe they were lobsters in past life.
Oh, okay.
I love conclusions. I love jumping to conclusions.
This is the part where the story gets really grim. So if you don't want to hear this, I guess skip ahead. But you can't skip ahead. You have to listen to this, Dad. Styles drank.
A werewolf attack.
Strike one. He drank. And combined with his overpowering upper body strength, because he was pulling himself across the ground, he became abusive toward his wife and children. At one point, he allegedly used his claw-like hand to rip his wife's IUD from within her body during a fight, and used his hands to choke her, something that were seemingly designed to do well. If anybody doesn't know what an IUD is, it's something that goes all the way through your cervix, into your uterus, so that not a very nice thing to get pulled out. Though that is how they usually remove it. So, but usually you take some painkillers before they do that. The worst was yet to come, however, when Grady Styles' teenage daughter, Donna, fell in love with a young man that he didn't approve of. Lobster Boy demonstrated his fatal strength. No one's exactly sure what happened. Either Styles went to see his daughter's fiancé at his home or invited the young man over under the guise of giving his blessing for the wedding planned for the next day. However, it began on the eve of the wedding. Styles picked up his shotgun and murdered his daughter's fiancé in cold blood. This is just like our story about the wheelchair, the cornhole champion, right? Bomb. Something happens, and they go on a murder spree. He soon went to trial, having admitted to his actions.
I'm not normal. I'm used to attention. I don't know. It's weird. It's gotta be. Weird.
Need to study this
Weird
somewhere.
Wednesday.
He soon went to trial, having admitted to his actions with no remorse whatsoever. Strike 3, but pointed out that he couldn't possibly be imprisoned. No jail could handle his disability, and to confine him to prison would be cruel and unusual punishment, which is technically a right in the United States. He also, by the time, had acquired liver cirrhosis from drinking and had emphysema for years of cigarette smoking. He was smoking and drinking and murdering. Just upstanding citizen for an upstanding lobster boy.
liver.
Yeah.
Yeah. It erodes
the court.
Brain. It's his brain.
The court realized they really had no counter argument, as it was true that prisons were not well equipped to deal with many disabilities. Certainly not Styles' incredibly rare one. It's not that rare. His whole family seems to have it. How rare is it when 20 people have it? I guess that's still pretty rare. So they left him off with a 15-year probation, and he returned home. Lobster Boy had, by this time, divorced his first wife, remarried another woman, and had 2 more children. He proceeded to subject them to his drunken rampages, and eventually his second wife divorced him too. For reasons that no one, or either the Styles family or outside of it, has been able to understand, his first wife agreed to remarry him in 1989. An article of the murder of Lobster Boy, Grady Styles Jr., and the convention Mary Styles appears here in the article, but that you can't see it. But Maria Theresa and her now grown children were not without their limits. Grady Styles had evaded prison and gained a sense of being above the law, and thus the beatings became more severe. His wife had finally reached her breaking point. That's right, even if with divorce, she's like, you know what, actually I'm going to save everyone else from this bastard and kill him myself. A few years after she remarried Styles, she paid her 17-year-old neighbor, Chris Wyant, $1,500 to kill him. Maria Theresa's son from another marriage, Glenn, helped her conceive the idea and carry out the plan. So, accessory to murder right there. Or conspiracy of murder. On the night of November 29th, 1992, before I was born, White took a .32 Colt automatic he had a friend purchased for him into Styles' trailer in Gibsonton and shot him dead at point-blank range. Not one of them denied that they intended to kill Grady Styles. During the trial, his wife spoke at length about his abusive history. My husband was going to kill my family, she told the court. I believe that from the bottom of my heart. At least one of their children, Kathy, testified against him as well. Even his favorite, the apple of his eye, was like, my dad sucked. I'm glad he's dead. The jury convicted Wyant of second-degree murder and sentenced him to 27 years in prison. They charged his wife and his son, Glenn, with first-degree murder. She received a sentence of only 12 years. First-degree prison, 12 years. I understand why she killed him. She unsuccessfully appealed her conviction and began to serve her sentence in 1997. She had tried to get Glenn to take a plea bargain, but he refused. The court sentenced him to life in prison. So the son who came up with the idea got life in prison? I thought he was getting a conspiracy to murder or something. Just that significant portion of his living family was being tried for his murder. Grady Styles Jr.'s body was put to rest, or unrest as it were. Lobster Boy was not so disliked, not just in his family but within the community, that the funeral home could not find anyone willing to be pallbearers. So they just rolled him out on a rug, I guess, and buried him somewhere in something. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah.
There's your story on
Bubble Boy.
The guy who was already kind of weird, and they decided to go wacky too.
Yeah. It's a non sequitur. The song it reminds me is Rock Lobster by the B-52s.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Another song it's going to remind me of, right? It's the only song I know.
Not a lot of
about
lobster songs out there. I can't even think of any lobster songs myself.
If you know the Bubble Boy episode of Seinfeld, have you ever seen that one? It's this grown man, but he has to live in a bubble, and George is playing Trivial Pursuit with him. And Bubble Boy is just a straight up asshole. He treats his mom like shit. He's a grown man, and he treats everybody like George is playing Trivial Pursuit to be nice to him, right? Because he thinks he's oh boy, this poor Bubble Boy, and Bubble Boy's just a straight up asshole. And he freaking he punctures his bubble and doesn't even feel bad about it. It's so funny. Anyway.
Yeah, it looks like the only song I could even know that's about lobster is probably from Juice WRLD. He had End of the Day Lobster Pizza, that in quotations or in parentheses. Sorry, Lobster Pizza. That's only, and SNL had a lobster sketch. I guess that's also technically a song.
There's a Larry the Lobster that was on a David Letterman show, I think. But yeah. Let's do the next story. I'm done reminiscing
about lobster. Our shorter story is coming out of Japan, which it's that time of the year, right? Spring is here, which means get your cocks out. Because it's the fertility festival, famous for Japan having a bunch of statues and people dressing up and as penises. It's just penis food you can eat, like little bread. If you like penis, it's all here at the festival, or was, I guess. I guess the festival's over now. This is from Kawasaki on Japan Today, by Japan Today, I guess. Showcasing phallus-shaped portable shrines and pink penis candies. Yeah, that's what it is. Pink penis candies. Japan's annual fertility festival teamed on the 5th of April, Sunday, also known as Easter for Christians out there, with tourists, couples, and families elated by the open display of sex. The spring Kanamata celebration near Tokyo features colorfully dressed worshippers carrying a trio of giant galaxy-shaped objects as they parade through the streets with glee. The festival as legend has its honors a local blacksmith in the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, who forged an iron dildo to break the teeth of a sharp-toothed demon inhabiting a woman's vagina that had been castrating young men at their wedding nights. Wow, I want an anime about that. There probably is a hentai about it, but I don't know if there's an anime about that. A sharp-toothed demon inhabiting a woman's vagina, castrating men on their wedding nights. Today, a 1-meter black steel phallus sits in the courtyard of Kaneyama Shrine, honoring the Shinto deities of fertility, childbirth, and protection from sexually transmitted infections. Over the centuries, sex workers pilgrimaged to the shrine to seek its powers of protection before the festival evolved into a broader fertility rite seeking to destigmatize sex, which you definitely need that in Japan with their lowering birth rate. I hope the festival can help disabuse people of the notion that sex is bad, a dirty thing. Hiroyuki Nakamura, chief priest at the shrine that hosts the festival, told AFP. In February, preliminary data released by the health ministry showed that Japan's birth rate has fallen for the 10th straight year since in 2025. A total of 705,809 babies were born that year in Japan, down 2.1% from 24. The data includes births to Japanese nationals in Japan, foreign births in Japan, and babies born to Japanese nationals overseas. The open-minded, all-inclusive annual event, that's really sad, right? They're even including foreigners and people who aren't even living in Japan who are Japanese, and they still are going down. That's tragic. The open-minded, all-inclusive annual event attracts everyone from tourists to families with children and LGBT supporters supporting rainbow outfits. That's right, children need to learn about penises too. Some of them even have penises. Don't tell anyone. Children also have sexual organs and they don't know anything about them. It feels like it's more than just a haha sex. There's a whole understanding behind it. Jimmy Sue, 32, a tourist from San Francisco, told AFP, referring to the event's underlying fertility theme. Despite the penis-themed t-shirts, toys, and candies galore, I think by American standards this is so wholesome, he said. The view was echoed by Julie Ebach, 58. There was one little boy who had 2 penis stickers, and he's just going back and forth, and we just were laughing, the tourist from San Diego said. Everyone is embracing it and making fun of it, she said. You don't see that anywhere else. Haha, penis, funny. The end. Right? Hey, sometimes penises are funny. That's not serious. It's not the end of the world. And then there's some photos of a guy with a penis hat, a shrine maiden blessing the big penis. And then there's a shirt. Oh, sorry, not a shirt. A tote bag with the penis plushie inside it that says, "Good days start with fruit of the loom." Wink. And it's just a penis in the middle of the grapes. So there you go.
I'm gonna stay out of the gutter for my song.
I mean, I already, yeah, it's fine. It's some good fun, right? It's not perverted at all.
The song it reminds. Okay, all right. That's how we all got here.
Yep.
The song reminds me of is "Here Comes the Sun" by the Beatles. Little
that's
darling,
what happens
it's been
in
a
April.
long, cold. It's been a long, cold, lonely winter. So there you go. Emphasis on the lonely. Anyway.
Yeah, it's gotten a lot of love, you could say.
Yeah,
I got your joke. Okay, let's go to our next story.
Yeah.
Let's move on from the penis talk. We don't want to get too excited.
We are all of this fertility talk. People getting born during the Blitz.
It's time.
Okay,
everyone,
everyone,
even all the animals are excited. Hypothetical is our next segue. for your story.
Okay, we could have done Blitzkrieg Bop, right? I don't know. I said the story. Hypothermia. Okay, hypothermia. Scientists. Excuse me. I guess we could do the scientist story second. We'll do the short story first about the Arizona woman who disappeared in 1994, the year you were born, and she just
1994. You mean?
Yeah, 1990. What year? What did I say?
You said 84. It's like that would make me 10 years old.
Oh, I thought I said 1894. Anyway, TheGuardian.com. Arizona woman went missing 32 years ago without a trace. Was found alive. It's from Anna Betts.
How old was she? She must be in her 60s then or something, or 50s?
We'll get to this in a minute. We shall reveal. Anna Betts from TheGuardian.com. The woman in Arizona went missing 32 years ago when she was 13. Has been found alive, authorities said this week. Christina Maria Plante was reported missing in May 1994. You were 3 months old when this happened. From Star Valley, Arizona, which is not that far from, really, it's the Southwest. I mean, it's 300 miles. After she vanished without a trace from her community, according to the statement released on Wednesday by the Gila County Sheriff's Office. Gila County is where Gila Bend is, so that's like the middle of the state somewhere, I think. Investigators said that she was last seen leaving her home on foot to go to a stable where her horse was, and is not seen again. At the time, her disappearance prompted an extensive search effort, involved local law enforcement, volunteers, and regional resources, but despite being exhaustive ground search interviews and investigative follow-up, no viable leads were deployed, the sheriff's office said. Plant, because she has an E at her name, was entered into a national missing children database. Missing person flyers were distributed locally, statewide, and across the country. Over the years, the sheriff's office said the investigators continued to periodically revisit the case, re-examine the evidence, and pursuing new information as it became available. The sheriff's office said the creation of its cold case unit marked a renewed commitment to unresolved investigations that utilizing advances in technology, modern investigative techniques, and detailed case review. Detectives developed new leads that ultimately led to a breakthrough. This is police work did this now. So it wasn't just happenstance. Now, 32 years after her disappearance, the sheriff's office announced on Wednesday that Plante had been located alive. Investigators said that they have confirmed her identity and her status of a missing person has been officially resolved. The sheriff's office added that out of respect for Christina's privacy and well-being, additional details will not be released at this time. The Gila County Sheriff's Office remains committed to pursuing all unresolved cases and encourages anyone with information regarding other cold cases to come forward. So they got to the bottom of it. We don't know why she left, but I'm pretty sure she wasn't happy. Just guessing. But yeah, not really sure. She left on her own volition now, and she's like, I don't care. I don't know. I'll go back.
I stole your hypothetical, I guess, which was she might have just ran away, right? We're talking about it before the show. Yeah.
50, I mean,
did they say what age she was? Because I didn't catch it. If they did, they 13. Just said she was.
That was her very
13.
First sentence. Very first
okay,
sentence.
Sorry.
Very first sentence. I was
probably thinking about hypothetical things. Yeah, probably thinking about hypothetical things to think about.
Bro, she told you instead of just going. It's in the story.
I'm eating. Also, I'm eating during your story, so I was probably just like, the seaweed is so good.
All you heard was. Here's what you heard. That's what you heard. That was crinkling paper. You didn't know what that was. That noise. We got them.
I finished it though.
Along with
I finished the seaweed, so it's gonna. So I can't get distracted anymore. But yes, yeah, I'm eating crunchy seaweed.
Yeah, she obviously didn't care about being found. Yeah, it's like I
thought you would have taken the horse and run away. I feel like you could get farther. Right, if you took the horse, but they didn't. It sounded like that she didn't take the horse, right? She was found. She was on her way to the stable. Didn't take the horse with her, and she just walked off into the distance. I guess.
My hypothetical is I don't know. We're tied the two stories together. She joined a circus, met Lobster Boy, and, so forth. Go on. Yeah, there we go. I just carry one thing on to the other. We can invent a whole series of. Because she was found safe, we can make fun of it now, right?
Maybe when she's 50 or 60, it'll be a big story. She's like, Missing girl finally comes clean on why she ran away. Oh, I guess she is 50 now because she said she was 13, so she would be. No, she's not 50 yet.
Already. I'm guessing she hired a publicist and we'll be seeing a movie.
Like she didn't know. She didn't know. Well, she didn't know she was missing, I guess, right? Because she just ran away.
Yeah. Well, you found me. I'm 35, and it's not. Wait, 45. You found me. I'm 45. I have kids of my own in my own life, so leave me alone. Other than that, we can do a movie of the week deal. I got all kinds of stories about being on
the road. We can do a Lifetime or something, or Lifetime's movie.
Yeah, it'd be another Lifetime Christmas movie. Christmas with Lobster Boy. ScienceAlert.com has. It's somebody at Lifetime or Hallmark Channel is taking notes out there somewhere. Lobster Boy Christmas. Girl runs away. I see an Emmy. ScienceAlert.com has a story. Science found a big problem with how we measure microplastics. I've been freaking out about microplastics. I stopped eating myself. I just graze in the grass outside. That's what I do. Scientists found a big problem with how we measure microplastics. The Conversation has it from the Science Alert. I don't know if that's a person's name. It's a cool name if it is. Maybe he's a rapper.
Maybe.
Anyway, it seems like every day a new study finds tiny plastic particles called microplastics where they should not be in our bodies, in our food, in our water. Yet, finding and identifying microplastics is extremely challenging, especially given their small size. One microplastic can range from as large as a ladybug to as small as an eighth of a red blood cell. In addition, it can be hard for researchers to avoid unintentionally contaminating their supplies because these plastics are practically everywhere. As a result, much of the research may be overestimating the number of microplastics. In a new study published on March 2026, our team found that even when following established protocols and using certain methods to measure environmental microplastics can potentially contaminate the results. You're using microplastics in your measuring devices, you idiots. That's probably what it is. We are chemists at the study. It says we are the chemists at University of Michigan working on a collaborative team. We set out to understand how many microplastics Michiganders were inhaling when outside and whether that depended on where they lived. When preparing our samples, we followed all the standard protocols while conducting our research. We avoided plastic use in the lab, wore non-plastic clothing, and even used a specialized chamber to reduce potential contamination from the laboratory air. Despite these precautions, we found that plastic counts in the air that were over 1,000 times greater than the previous reports. We knew these numbers didn't seem right, so what happened? The culprit is lab gloves.
Oh, cool. Those are made out of plastic. Hello. Gotta use paper gloves next time, and that might have plastic in it too. Ugh.
Yikes. Latex. Natural
latex is a plastic. Oh, isn't? Oh no, it's not.
No, latex occurs naturally in dandelions. That white stuff that comes out of dandelions.
Why don't they just get their skin cells in it and then just eradicate skin cell measurement? Like, oh, there's some skin cells in there. Of course there is. We used our hands. I feel like they should have just done that and said if you're specifically measuring plastic, right? Just let some skin cells be in there. Who cares? You're not measuring that anyways. I don't know.
Well, I need the trombone. Lab gloves. So much for our scientific findings, right?
There you go.
After a long path through pinpointing the contamination sort, we found the laboratory gloves, which the scientific community recommends as using as a best practice, can transfer particles to the surface of our samples. In this case, small metal sheets used to collect material deposits from air. Moreover, the particles led to an overestimation of microplastic abundance in our study. Here's how. The particles, which we identified as stearate salts, are used to help the gloves cleanly release from their mold during the manufacturing process. Aha! Yes, that little dusty stuff on it. That's what it is. When gloves are used to handle laboratory equipment, the particles are transferred to anything they touch. Stearate salts are similar to soap molecules. If you eat a lot of them, they're probably not good for you, but they're not harmful in the environment, the same way that microplastics are. While not microplastics themselves, stearate salts are structurally similar to polyethylene, the type of plastic most often found in the environment. The structural similarity makes it difficult to distinguish them using the most common tools scientists used to determine whether a particle is plastic. Researchers use vibrational spectrometer, right? They want to see what elements are in your shit. Well, not literal shit. Unless they're looking at shit, then that's another story. To identify microplastics, what's entails, we are looking for microplastics and shit because you want to see what it comes out, right?
Yeah,
anyway,
if it does.
Let's get on with it. Yeah, again, there's a lot of shit in science. It's unavoidable, which entails measuring how the particle interacts with light to produce what scientists call a chemical fingerprint. Which was it Ptolemy or somebody who said, not Ptolemy. Who's the guy who invented who discovered spectronomy? It wasn't Newton.
And we talked about him the other day. He was on This Day in History and everything, yeah.
Yeah, he discovered that a prism refracts light into a perfect rainbow, like your Roy G. Biv, but different elements refract in a different order. Sometimes you get two reds in an order, for instance. Researchers use vibrational, because polyethylene and stearite salt.
It says here.
Yeah, what? Okay, there you go. He noticed sunlight being refracted through like some kind of prism thing, and he's like, "Whoa, let's measure it!" And then hit with different frequencies.
You can separate light into colors, and that's how we have TVs today, basically.
Right.
In a way.
Yes. And he also, the prism, there was no heat being transferred through the prism either, right? None of the heat went through. It all got, absorbed or whatever. Anyway, back to the story. Researchers vibrational identify microplastic, blah, blah, blah. Because polyurethane and stearite salts has very similar structures, they also interact with light in a similar way. As a result, at least some of the time, the particles from gloves are incorrectly identified as microplastics. As more researchers rely on automated methods to speed up their analysis, AI giving us wrong conclusions again.
No,
glove residue may be increasingly mistaken
AI.
for microplastics, leading. Well, I'm just saying, AI did it as a shortcut. Yeah, you're taking shortcuts. Good luck with your results. It's like,
well, that's where the humans are there to confirm the results.
Pick it from a person who takes shortcuts. Sometimes it's a shortcut, and sometimes the tide is in and it's a swamp.
And sometimes you get kidnapped by Lobster Boy. So, gotta watch out.
Yes, exactly. And sometimes a tree falls in, you get kidnapped, you join the circus, and Lobster Boy.
And you get attacked and you get mauled by a mysterious animal.
We've covered every story here today. To investigate how prevalent this contamination might be, we looked at different glove types. We mimicked the touch between different types of gloves. While handling laboratory equipment and counted the number of microplastics we would incorrectly attribute. There you go. Let's see what's on our damn gloves. We found that gloves can contribute over 7,000 microplastics per square millimeter.
Wow!
As my voice starts to fry.
That's my voice is fried all the time.
Even more concerning, there's a lot of pollen in here, and I've been cutting grass, so it's even more vocal fry than usual. Even more concerning, we found that the particles were largely less than 5 that means micrometers in size. Microplastics in this size range have larger impacts on human and ecosystem health because they are more easily enter cells. By inflating microplastic counts in the size range using laboratory gloves might jeopardize the study. So all these studies are tragically flawed if they use these gloves is the point we're making. Go ahead and eat to your heart's content until we have some further science, I would just say, because over panicking about the oversampling of glove residue, I mean, oh my God, is it all glove residue? For all we know it is. I don't even, right? There is going to be a certain amount of microplastics, but it's not the crisis levels we thought. But let's have us a hypothetical about eating plastic, I guess.
I feel like maybe if a robot did this entire experiment, just a robot, it probably could have the handling of it, right? Taking the samples, using robot arms. They probably could have avoided all of this. But I don't know why they didn't come up across. They can do surgery with robots, so I think they should be able to pick something up, get a pipette, fill it up. I mean, the pipette is probably made out of plastic too. You need how do you make a pipette not made of plastic? A metal pipette.
Metal tips on it. Yeah, you put
no, but
the
inside is plastic. You need to be able to, squish it. Maybe like a tin or aluminum could be flexible enough. I don't know.
Well, the problem with using AI to reach a conclusion about what was in the chemical process, I
think the problem was the gloves. The problem wasn't the AI. The problem was the gloves.
I thought you were going to work this hypothetical into the whole circus thing and the Lobster Boy and. But yeah,
it was probably the microplastics that caused her to disappear. There you go. We worked it in.
Probably.
That's probably what happened. She had too many microplastics back in 1994, and she just walked off into the forest and at 13, never seen again.
Yeah, there's a reason all these stories popped up in our feeds. It's not coincidence. There is no.
Yeah, it's all connected.
There's no free will.
That's the real conspiracy.
Right. Yeah. I see it.
We didn't talk about the underground World War II tunnels, but I don't know how to fit that in.
That's where it's all being hidden.
Oh, right, of course. That's where all the records are.
It's like
our next segue is a bad pun, and you're gonna have a good subject for these because we got two clowns getting clowned by me and also society.
Sorry,
bad pun.
What did I get? Bad pun. Okay.
So this first story, we kind of talked about it a little bit yesterday because unfortunately, Raj got a story that was talking about the astronauts, but all he wanted to do is talk about Trump for whatever reason. It's like, can you talk about the people who actually did something, not the guy who's sitting in a chair forgetting what his last name is? Anyways, we're going to talk about that really weird meeting with Trump the astronauts had in which silence is golden, the title of the article is. They gave him the silent treatment. So, and memes have already been spreading on the social media, and people have already been jokes about this from David Moorquand on Your News Culture. A clip of the Artemis II crew's silence to Donald Trump's praise and ranting has gone viral. In space, no one can hear you cringe. Good morning, Dassy. Thank you for checking in. I hope you're having a good Wednesday. Following the historic space mission to the far side of the moon, the crew of Artemis II got a call from none other than convicted felon Trump. He congratulated the astronauts on their lunar flyby before going off on a tangent, ranting to the Canadian astronaut Jemmy Hansen about how he'd spoken to former Canadian ice hockey player and MAGA supporter Wayne Gretzky. Have nothing to know. You're Canadian, you probably know that guy. Which Trump refers to as the Great One, and as well as Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. Well, I have to say, I'm not going to I can't do a Trump accent, so he said some stuff. I'm not going to quote him. The comment went with his comment about that stuff and his rant and Canadians and having friends in Canada. The comments went with awkward silence, which lasted for an excruciatingly long time. No one said anything for more than a minute after Trump stopped speaking before a comm check was asked for, to make sure you guys are still in the line and we didn't have a handover. The comms were working fine, and judging by arguably the most hilarious part of this embarrassing moment, there was no delay. Indeed, there was an immediate response from Trump, who was waiting for a reaction from the astronauts. I am still here. Crickets. Crickets. Silence is golden and speaks volumes, according to the internet. The clip of the Artemis II's crew's silence has gone viral, with many joking about how even at more than 250,000 miles from Earth, you can't escape a Trump rant. Others praise the crew for not appeasing Trump. As if we could have loved them any more. They give the perfect response, wrote one user on Twitter, while another argued, "This is what integrity looks like. How refreshing to see people not laugh it up for the most moronic leader of all time. Thank you." Here's some more mic drop, or I guess mic float moments from social media. Colonel Hansen's silence is eloquent. Awkward scenes aboard Artemis II as Trump stops ranting and none of the astronauts have anything left to say to him, leading to extended dead air. I mean, he didn't ask a question, he didn't say anything, he just talked about himself for like 9 minutes, and they were like, okay, can we talk about being astronauts or going to space or nothing? You're just gonna talk about yourself in Canada, okay? Thanks for the rant, Trumpy.
Sundowning. If you're sitting at a retirement home reading to somebody in their 90s, this is what's known as sundowning. They realize
you don't have to tell me about that. I'm dealing with that every day on this show. Haha, but I'm...
Oh man, he catches a random flak.
Anyways, awkward scenes aboard Artemis 2 as Trump stops ranting and none of the astronauts have anything left to say to him, leading to extended dead air. That microphone suddenly became a hot potato. Everyone's like, I'm not picking it up, you pick it up. Nope, I picked it up last time. Well, if I pick it up, can I call him a stupid fuck? Yeah, don't do that. He might shoot missiles at us upon re-entry. Awkward. This is fucking art. The long silence where each second gets funnier than the last. The way the astronauts keep replacing the floating mic, clearly trying to get one of the others to pick it up and say something. Trump saying he's still there. True comedy here. Trump tried to cut the funding to NASA. I wouldn't have said anything either. Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, mission specialist Christian Koch, and mission specialist Jeremy Hansen are currently on their way back to Earth. Splashdown is scheduled for Friday the 10th of April. So they'll probably talk about that for the rest of their lives. Yeah. Got bad puns about that? I already did a bad dad joke, pun. I guess I am.
Well, it's absolute lunacy, I will say that. Here's your bad pun about the moon.
Oh, dear. That's a good one.
It's like, it's like you got a cobra in the room. You're sitting there with the cobra, and that cobra, it'll probably, if we just ignore it long enough, it'll stop trying to look at us and stop being a cobra.
Honestly, that's what I would completely glaze. If Trump came up to me and started talking to me and ranting about some random shit, I would just glaze over like this. Oh, I wonder what I'll have for dinner.
They're also spared from having to smell him. At least they got that.
I wonder what plans I have this weekend. Did I forget to turn the oven off? That's what I would be doing.
Yeah, they're like,
I can't wait to get home and hug my family. That's what they're thinking.
I think astronauts spend a good deal of time in their happy place, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not really here in this little capsule, man.
I just want to do science. Please stop talking to me. Okay, our next story. Another short one because these stories are both these are both short, so I wanted to just we talked about this on Monday, so I guess I get the last laugh. The Wireless Festival has been canceled because hey, I guess you can't platform a Nazi at your festival for 3 days. It's from David Moraquand again on Your News Culture. Controversial American rapper Kanye West has been blocked from entering the UK to perform at the Wireless Musical Festival after a mounting backlash over his planned summer headline slot. Now, the 26th edition of the Wireless Festival has been axed, especially after all those sponsors also left. The pressure was too strong. Following the UK's Wireless Festival being criticized over the booking of Kanye West and growing backlash over the controversial rapper's planned headline set this summer, the UK government has blocked the controversial rapper's permission to travel to Levity. The Home Office confirmed the ban to the BBC. The government has discretion to ban foreign nationals from the UK if their presence is not considered conducive to public good. Like being an anti-Semite. Especially when the UK right now is trying to cozy up to Israel as much as possible. I don't agree with it, right? I don't agree with cozying up to Israel but it makes sense why they, don't want an anti-Semite coming to their country. Because Israel's not going to be happy about that. One good thing Israel has done, right? Blocking out Kanye West. The bar is low. Responding to the news, the Wireless Festival issued the following statement. The Home Office has withdrawn Ye's ETA, denying him entry into the United Kingdom. As a result, Wireless Festival is cancelled and refunds will be issued to all ticket holders. It continued, as with every Wireless Festival, multiple stakeholders were consulted in the advance of booking Ye, and no concerns were highlighted at the time. Which is, because somebody probably messaged the CEO of Pepsi saying, what the fuck are you doing having a Nazi at your festival that you're sponsoring? Oh shit, right, he did that shit last year. I already forgot about it because of all the other bullshit we're going through every year. Every day, there's new bullshit. You forget that he had a whole anti-Semite freaking rant on social media for everyone to see. Oh yeah, but he apologized. Okay. Yeah, I would apologize too if I'm putting out a new album and I'm going on tour. That's just a no-brainer. Anyways, anti-Semitism in all its forms is abhorrent. We recognize the real and personal impact these issues have had. As Ye said today, he acknowledges the words alone are not enough, and in spite of this, still hopes to give the opportunity to begin a conversation with the Jewish community in the UK. How about you donate a bunch of money to the, Holocaust Survivors Fund or something, Why don't you head to one of the places that they killed Jews in and say, yes, this did happen, and I'm not denying it didn't happen, because I'm pretty sure he had a Holocaust denier rant too, so I don't want to hear from this guy about, well, I apologize, that's enough. Upon hearing the news, the West's entry in the UK had been denied. The Campaign Against Anti-Semitism, CAA, has urged sponsors to continue boycotting the event, following the likes of Pepsi, Diageo, PayPal, and Rockstar Energy all stepping away. That's a lot of big sponsors being like, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. A spokesperson for Campaign Against Anti-Semitism said in a statement, the government has clearly made the right decision here. For once, when it said that anti-Semitism has no place in the UK, it backed up its words with action. Someone who has boasted of making tens of millions of dollars from selling swastika t-shirts, who released a song called Heil Hitler just months ago, clearly would not be conducive to the public good in the UK. The statement concluded, while this festival, in its desperate quest for profit, defended the invitation until the end. That is shameful, and sponsors should continue to stay away. No need to boycott, as the festival's 2026 edition is now no more, but never give them money again, I think is what we're saying. Previously, Melvin Benn, the managing director of Festival Republic, which co-promotes Wireless alongside Live Nation, had issued statements defending West. Uh-oh! Doubling down! Your show's over for the foreseeable future, buddy. Doubling down! He should have kept his mouth shut. My only goal is to come to London and present a show of change. Oh, sorry, this is from Kanye, I think. Yeah. West made a statement saying he had been following the conversation around Wireless and wants to address it directly. My only goal is to come to London and present a show of change, bring unity, peace, and love through my music, he said. Oh, you mean like your Hail Hitler song? I bet all the song is about being the coolest rapper and I don't know.
Yeah.
Fucking all the bitches or something.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess.
Well, I'm not done yet. Sorry,
this, right?
I'm not done with the quote yet.
Oh, okay.
You just laughed at me, so I got distracted. He said, offering to meet members of the Jewish community in person to listen. He added, "I know words aren't enough. I'll have to show change through my actions. If you're open, I'm here." However, these comments were, I don't know what he sounds like. I haven't heard him in 10 years.
You sound like Selma and Patty. I'm
a woman. I can't sound like a man. I'm sorry. I have to like crush my throat and
do a baby voice. Do a baby voice because he's still.
Well, nobody can understand. Nobody can understand baby voices though.
Sure, that's okay. We don't have to understand them.
However, these comments weren't enough, and West will not be heading to London this summer. Because he probably is. He's probably a member of the freaking Antifa, not the Antifa, the far-right Nazi brigade of the 1960s. That's why Tommy. Sorry, yeah, Tommy's also making fun of my accent. We're not going to talk about what he did. We've already talked about it. He's already been blocked in another country. We talked about this on Monday, but get fucked, Kanye.
Yeah. There's okay. So I guess my pun is I'm gonna paraphrase Kanye's song that I know called "Gold Digger." I'm not saying he's a Third Riker, but he should become a Everest hiker. We gotta tie it into the other story.
He should get scammed for all his money, and then should give it to the
Kanye
victims of the Holocaust or whatever.
I mind with Kanye and Kim's oldest child named Northwest. That's her name, Northwest. She's gonna have a big college decision coming up. She's gonna have to decide between going to Northwestern and Northeastern or Southwest Missouri State.
More jokes.
Northwest. Go to Northwest. That's a joke. It's more than a pun, but anyway. They have 4 kids. 4!
25 streams. Thanks, Tommy. I wish I could do the same thing to you, but I keep missing your streams.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you for your jokes. Let's roll our... I don't know why I switched computers. I need to roll the segue. There we go.
And...
oh boy, it's time for me to do some haikus for this day in history. Get the show on the road.
Sorry, I made that happen.
Off the road.
Sorry. I caused that. Well, we'll do it quickly. April 8th in the year 1838, the Great Western, the earliest regular transatlantic steamer, embarked on its first voyage from Bristol, England to New York City. The first transatlantic steamer. Big old ship that ran on steam power. 1859, philosopher Edmund Herschel, the founder of, Herschel, of phenomenology, was born in what is today Czechia.
Boo! Phenomenology sucks. Boo! That's the idea that, because you're a white guy, you have a bigger brain. And if you're a black guy and your nose bridge indicates that you're lesser than me. That's stupid bullshit. Based on science, because we measured your skull.
Yeah, we measure it by how many white guys try to climb Mount Everest and make it about halfway up and die, or end up in the hospital. We measure it by 1912. Sonja Henie was born in what is today Oslo, Norway. She was one of the first superstars of figure skating. She won a World Amateur Championship for 10 consecutive years, 27 to 36. And 3 gold medals in the Winter Olympic Games, 28, 32, and 36. And then they stopped having the Olympics for about 12 years, or maybe more. When did they restart the Olympics after World War II? I think it was 52.
We talked about it yesterday, didn't we? Yet. The restart of... Oh, no, you mean after World War II? I have no idea about that.
Part of the original Olympics. 1896. The original Olympics were naked guys in Greece, before.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever.
I know all about the naked Olympics, guys rolling around in dirt in Greece.
The modern Olympics were discontinued during World War II, so they had to recontinue. 1913, the 17th Amendment, which called for a direct election of U.S. senators by voters of the states, was ratified, adopted during the progressive era, good old days. The rejection of corruption and inefficiency that had taken hold of legislative elections in the U.S. senators in many states. Thank God they got rid of corruption. 1941, designer Vivienne Westwood, who was with her partner Malcolm McLaren, we know him, he started the Sex Pistols, extended the influence of the 1970s punk music movement into fashion, was born in Derbyshire, England. She was happy birthday to Vivienne Wood, who I did not, or partner, I don't know if they were married or just in business together. Malcolm McLaren was that crazy guy who started the punk movement in London. 1950, Jawaharlal Nehru of India concluded that Delhi in the Liquid Khan of Pakistan, the passage of refugees displaced after 2 countries severed economic relations in December 1949. So India and Pakistan, I guess they still don't like each other, right? They're still disputing that the Led Zeppelin song plays, Kashmir. 1973, Pablo Picasso, one of the most influential artists of the 20th century, died in France at the age of 91. He's the only artist I ever heard of that was famous while he was still alive. I guess I ever heard of. I didn't know what Jackson Pollock was, but who
did Michelangelo? Who did that again? Wasn't he famous at the time he was alive?
I don't know. I wasn't around.
Oh,
see, I was only around during Picasso's lifetime.
Oh.
I wasn't around, so I know Picasso was famous during his lifetime. Like a lot of artists,
that's what you mean.
Guy, he was never sold the painting. Picasso didn't have that problem. Of course, he was what do they call it?
Bastard.
Surrealist.
Oh.
Salvador Dali is another one that got famous. I guess there's a lot of them. Like Andy Warhol got famous, right? Hey. 1974.
Another not great person.
Hank Aaron hit his 715th career. Andy Warhol, Salvador Dali. There's about 100 now that I can think of, but never mind. 1974, Hank Aaron hit his 750th career home run, breaking Babe Ruth's record on this day 52 years ago, which had stood since 1935. In 1976, Aaron completed his career with 755 home runs and stood until Barry Bonds broke it. 1979, the final episode of All in the Family aired on CBS, America's TV's most Successful sitcom is known for its frank and satirical treatment of such topics as race, gender, sex, and bigotry. There was nothing like it on American television when it first premiered. In 1990, the first episode of Twin Peaks, speaking of nothing like it, aired on television. It was won critical acclaim and a cult following with its unconventional narrative, surreal tone, and eerie characters. David Lynch only foray into television. 1990, Ryan White, who became the national symbol for the United States after he contracted AIDS from blood transfusion, given the treatise hemophilia, died at the age of 18. He became really good friends with Elton John.
Really?
Who Elton John was one of the first advocates for the AIDS epidemic, way before Elton John and Lady Diana, for instance. Mm-hmm. And Ryan White was, again, he wasn't gay, so he became the symbol of non-gay people are dying from it. Holy shit!
Oh, in 2003, now we care about people dying.
Yeah, and Nancy Reagan only cared, again, when Rock Hudson got it. 2003, it was reported that the springtails, or the Collembola, long thought to be among the oldest ancestors of insects, did not evolve as insects, but rather evolved from a separate group that was formed even before crustaceans and insects diverged. We were talking about
new genus.
Lobster Boy. There's some more. Yeah, there's some more Lobster Boy news. We're talking about crustaceans. 2013, Margaret Thatcher. What happened to Margaret Thatcher in this day? She stopped being Margaret Thatcher and became a cadaver. It was the day she died. And the only British Prime Minister...
The Welsh kids got their milk again! Or something, I don't know. That's what the Welsh say. That they stole the kids' milk.
Well, it's not... Yeah. Again, Margaret Thatcher was, again, a Reaganite, which was, you said, poor people, we still got them? Oh, Lord, what an inconvenience. Margaret Thatcher, who was United States 3 consecutive terms as Prime Minister. Again, I think England just gets stuck in a rut sometimes, and he got stuck in that Margaret Thatcher rut. It's embarrassing. You should be embarrassed. 2024, the total solar eclipse occurred across parts of Mexico, United States, and Canada, lasting more than 4 minutes in some place. It was North America's second total eclipse in 7 years. Of course, the 2017 was Stinky the Clown looked directly at it, and hopefully, I don't know if he's still seeing spots from that. Today,
maybe he's blind.
The most practitioners in today, it says more events, most practitioners of Buddhism in Japan. We were talking about the spring rites of fertility. Mm-hmm. It's also the birth of Buddha, who lived in India sometime between the 6th and the 4th century.
Happy birthday, Buddha!
But Japan they celebrate Buddhas by, having kids. 1820, the Venus de Milo was found. I didn't know she was lost, but apparently she was found. Somebody stole her arms. She didn't come with broken arms. That just happens to old statues. The Venus de Milo is one of the most famous ancient statues in the world. It was found in the pieces on this day in 1820 at the Aegean island of Melos. These pieces were collected and shipped to France, presented to King Louis XVIII, reconstructed and put in display at the Louvre. The statue was commonly thought to represent Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of sexual love and beauty, and some have suggested the sea goddess Aphrodite. The arms have never been found. Another reason why it should be, right, the first day of the spring fertility, right, because of Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of sexual love. Hello. The Venus de Milo was found on this day, 1820. So there you go. The Greek representation of what happens in the springtime. Kofi Annan, Ghanaian statesman and Secretary General of the United Nations, our featured biography. He's no longer with us. He lived to be 80, though. He was born in Kumasi on the Gold Coast in 1938. He died in 2018 at the age of 80 in Bern, Switzerland, which I had to go to Switzerland and actually be there to figure out that Bern is their actual capital. And I thought it was, what did I think it was? I thought it was Geneva or something, right? I don't know what I thought it was. 1892, Mary Pickford was born. Betty Ford was born in 1918, First Lady of the United States. Oh, Mary Pickford was a silent movie actress, Canadian-born. 1937, Seymour Hersh, investigative journalist. If you want to watch a great documentary on Netflix, it's called Cover Up. It's the story of Seymour Hersh and how he uncovered a lot of stuff in his career as a journalist, including the Maley Massacre. So if you want to watch a documentary, it's worth your time. Cover Up on Netflix. 1938, Kofi and I, we did that. It's Patricia Arquette, American actress, born in 1968. She's turning 58 today. Sister of Rosanna Arquette, right? Rosanna. I don't know if Patricia has a song written about her, but her sister does. All I want to do when I wake up in the morning is see your eyes, Patricia. That could have worked. National days today. It's National Empanada Day. It's National Zoo Lovers Day. Just go to your local animal prison. Our animal prison is free of charge. The National Zoo, it's owned by the Smithsonian, so you just gotta walk in the gate, get your hand stamped or something. I don't know. You never had to pay, at least when I went there. And it's National All Is Ours Day, and this is like celebrating our national parks. So our national parks. So that's basically all of it. It's only those three things. April 8th. Your haikus upcoming, your songs, your overly long show for April 8th, 2026 on Before Empanadas. Go eat yourself into a coma.
All right, I'll read you some messages from chat that happened because I didn't want to interrupt you too much. So we got a message. All these messages from Tommy. He was also talking.
Right on.
He said, Andy's Warhol is probably a blockbuster corn movie, and I think he meant porn movie, but his autotype got him. Ryan White deserves so much better, just like all victims of AIDS. That was the second best day of my life. The first day will be when the orange falls from the fruit bowl. It's his first. Second favorite day of his life was Thatcher's death. You meant corn. Yeah. You don't have to be PJ here. You don't need to be PG here. We're not PG. We just talked about penises for our entire story.
I'm afraid Trump's demise will be the same anticlimax as Dick Cheney, right? He's like, he's dead, but he ain't president anymore. Yeah.
And then Tommy said it's embarrassing that the UK has had 3 women prime ministers, and they're all on the wrong side of history. And then Tommy said, a reminder for you.
Head of lettuce.
Tommy will Tommy will remind us because he'll remember.
May was one of them.
No, May was the previous one for that.
Okay.
Also, reminder, Tommy is going to be on the show on Monday the 27th. So he's like, see, isn't this great commentary that I will be providing for the future?
You can do the whole show.
Yeah, I'll just not be there. I'll just be in the background.
All my British accents are from Monty Python, right? I can only do Monty Python British accents. I do a great John Cleese. I do the British. I do the spam lady. Spam. I do her, That's it, man.
Tommy also said National Let Animals Escape the Zoo Day is what it should be. And that's all he said. Other than he was trying to be PG, which... Like spam. Okay, this has... Let me get my haikus out. That's right. I wrote my haikus ages ago. So let's get this haikus out first. In the sands of time lost, Venus unwrapped, whispers grace. Silent beauty blooms. Within our arms, anyways. From Kumasi's root, a voice for peace united. Noble's dreams took flight for our Nobel Peace Prize winner, Kumasi. And dough wraps warmth inside. Flavors dance on April's breeze. Joy in every bite from our empanadas. Mmm, delicious.
Oh.
The OG Hot Pocket. Okay, let me check if there's any international days today before we finally finish the show.
One more time.
An hour and 10 minutes later. Nope, there's no days today. We're free from celebrating or observing anything from the UN anyways. Go eat empanada. This has been Allison here from the Netherlands. Roger from the East Coast of the US as we finish off another Wacky and Weird Wednesday. I hope that was enough wacky and weirdness for you. I'm definitely told a lot of jokes about today's news. We will see you tomorrow for Thursday's 13, in which we will cover 13 things on a list. Maybe it'll be about Wednesday. No, just kidding. That was supposed to be today.
Yeah, I'll do a list of something or other.
I don't have International Yoga Day on my UN observances, Tommy. So that must be on like some random calendar, right? Like even our This Day in History is just a random calendar. Some dudes collected in a room and said, "Hey, today's this day," because we wanted to. I don't know. So I have no idea it was International Yoga Day. Maybe it is in India. Yeah.
I find a lot of instances where Britannica completely skipped rock stars, like famous rock stars.
But they want us to know about serial killers. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mick Jagger's birthday, also Son of Sam. Okay. That's the same.
So don't forget to subscribe to the Before Coffee channel on YouTube, because we need more subscribers on there so we can get pushed onto people's recommended pages and stuff, and more people can watch us. Thank you everyone who's already following, already subscribed. Don't forget to turn those notifications on so you know when we go live and post a video. And here is our very tragic mic drop wacky story moment.
New tonight, a McAllister mom is fighting for her life after a brutal animal attack, leaving her husband and 2 young daughters in a tough position.
Alicia Maxey was found severely injured Sunday morning. On top of that, her husband Wallace is on dialysis and waiting for a kidney transplant. Fox 23's Paige Orr joins us live in studio. Paige, you talked to the family and to investigators.
That's right, guys. Investigators originally thought that a dog was responsible, but the Pittsburgh County Sheriff's Office is now working with wildlife experts to identify the animal. As they search for answers, Alicia's family is struggling to stay afloat without the wild litter and without a vehicle to get Wallace to his life-saving treatments.
In a remote yard in Blanco, Oklahoma, Alicia Maxey was ambushed before she could even reach the front door of a home where she was hoping to find work.
She heard a deep growl. She said she could remember this growl. And she turned to run back to the truck, and something just pounced on her and knocked her to the ground. And she says it was dog-like, is what she described, but she didn't say it was certainly a dog.
Alicia was airlifted to Ascension St. John in Tulsa with gruesome injuries to her face, arms, and legs. For her husband, Wallace, the first sight of his wife in the ICU was beyond anything he expected.
Whenever I first walked in here, I wasn't expecting to see this. You know, I was thinking more of like a dog chewed up on her leg or bites on her arm or something. I wasn't expecting this. But when I first walked in and I seen her, I broke down and started crying.
I'm in too much pain to say anything right now.
While Alicia fights through her 4th surgery, Pittsburgh County Sheriff Frankie McClendon says the sheer scale of the attack has prompted a search for answers.
38 years, I've never been involved in anything to this extent as far as injuries caused by a wild animal. Our question now is what caused these injuries? We've got the Department of Wildlife. They have actually taken some of the evidence, some of the clothing that was ripped from her.
Hope they find the man-eating wolf or whatever it was.
To see what we can find out if there's any way to identify what type of animal.
The tragedy has left the couple's 6- and 7-year-old daughters in a hard spot. Wallace is currently on the list for a kidney, but since their only car was towed after the attack, he has no way to get to his dialysis appointments 2 hours away. Now, the family faces mounting costs for food and housing while supporting Alicia's recovery.
Alicia, she is a loving, caring person. I mean,
she looks like a
if you ever needed help, it doesn't matter who you are. She will sit there and help you the best that she can.
Now the family is hoping the community will return that kindness through a GoFundMe set up to help the Maxeys out as Alicia recovers. Live in studio covering news that matters, Paige Orr, Fox 23 News.
If you would like to help the Maxey family, you can find the link to their GoFundMe in this story on fox23.com.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.
Don't